welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. I have a couple of fun crafts for you today. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Today we'll be working on some rustic farmhouse fall home decor, so let's get started with project number 1. For this project, I found a box at a thrift store. You can see there on the right hand side, it was $3. You can use any kind of container you want. It has a label on the side. I'm going to leave it. You don't really see it anyway, and it just adds to the fun of it. I'm going to also use some floral foam here. I just got this at Walmart. And then I'm going to use these hydrangea flower colors from Dollar Tree, as well as this greenery. Now, I'm not a big fan of greenery at Dollar Tree, but this is the one that kind of has a little powdery look. The one that's just kind of plain and bright green looks way too plasticky to me, but this fits in. And I thought I had 4, but I only have 3, so I'm going to work with 3. Now, you can use as many of these. I think they have a couple of other colors of hydrangea. You can use as many colors as you want. I'm probably putting in way too many flowers per row for this small of a container, but you can have it a little less flowers if you want, but that's okay. So basically I'm going to alternate colors, like the oranges to the greens like this, and then the greenery on either side, right and left of the flowers. Now, if you have a bigger container, you could wrap like your greenery all the way around if you want. That's an option. And then I have this leftover sign, and I'm going to just do a little sign decor on the front in vinyl. Nice and easy. I'll just kind of glue and nail it to the front. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down now to make sure it fits inside my container, just like that. Done. And then the hardest and longest part of all of this was sitting there cutting your flowers off, the main stem, and getting them the length you wanted. And then also I decided, because the flowers have like the greenery has like a little bit of green and kind of that little bit of kind of burgundy tip, I thought it was pretty. So I left some of each row of flowers with the leaves on them and some without. Those are all cut and ready, so I've got them all covered up. Now I'm taking my black paint mixed with water, my fan brush, and I'm just adding a few splatters to the box. Probably could have left this out, but at least I did something to the box, right? All right, so here's my flowers. Ready to go. Again, left a little bit of that greenery on because I thought it was pretty in case it showed, but I packed in so many flowers, you don't really see it a whole lot. So if you use less flowers, you're apt to see that a little bit more. And you'll have to let me know if you like it with so many flowers. Okay, so I'm going to start out with my greenery on the right and left side. You could probably add like some moss along that top and bottom of that foam. Like on my box, like you probably wouldn't have seen it, but now that I pointed it out, you've seen it. And you only see it like when I turn the box up when we go to do the sign. But if you have anything that shows so you don't see that foam, you might want to add some moss to your box. Okay, or like around the edges at the top. You all know I like to add moss in that area too, but I really didn't on this because it was stuffed so full with the floral and that. Okay, once the greenery's done, I'm going to just start it first by putting all my flowers across the back of my container, just so I kind of know where the rows start. And then we'll start just doing one row at a time, of course. So probably here was probably enough of the orange flowers, but you can see I've still got a whole other stem left, so I'm stuffing them in. Like I made this really full. I wasn't joking. All right, and what I'm trying to do also is I'm trying to make sure that my front flowers kind of come down a little lower so that I don't see the stems underneath it. Make sure the sign can be seen, but the flowers are down lower because I'm not going to add moss around the top. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right, so here, of course, I'm coming in with the green flower. We're going row by row. You want to see this craft? We're going to look at it. Probably could have stopped here with the flowers, but I still have an whole other stem or bouquet of whatever you want. I'm putting them all in. Now we're to the orange. I did skip ahead a little bit, right? I like it though. It's really pretty from the front. All right, nice and full. Gonna add the green, and we're almost there. The green, I actually had 2 shades of green, but I made it nice. I kind of alternated dark, light, and then back in with the orange. Just finishing it off, and that makes it perfect. Like I said, nice and full, and look how pretty it is. But it still needs that sign in the front. Of course, I will have a free printable on my blog for you. I actually am giving you two designs because I couldn't decide at first. So if you look up to the left, that's the other design. And I made each one with kind of two different sizes. But I'm going to go with this kind of straight across because I thought it looked nicer for, like, you know, the long box that I've got. So I'm just adding it on with vinyl. There'll be a PDF and a PNG for you, and I'll have the fonts listed down in the description box. So once I get this off, then I will bring back in the splatter a little bit. Here comes Bella to take a visit. Of course, she's been in and out as she always is. Usually when I'm crafting, Boston might come in for a minute, but she's usually napping. That's why I get a lot of you saying, like, where's Boston? Sleeping. She's always sleeping. All right, here comes my splatter. Gonna try not to get any on Bella's bum right down there in the front. But shh, maybe one or two got on there. Ha ha. All right. My humor's in fine form today. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this on just to kind of hold it in place. I could leave it there, but, you know, with the glue, it would hold fine. But I just kind of want to bring in some nails. I couldn't find, I wanted ones with the larger heads, like on the box, and I couldn't find them. So you don't really see the nails as much, but at least I know they're there because I kind of wanted it to match. But isn't it pretty from this angle? Once I nail in this last nail on the box, that makes this project complete. We'll take a look at the results at the end of the video. Let's move on to project number 2. For this project, it's easy. We've done lots of pumpkins before, but I thought this design was fun. So I have like this really thick upholstery fabric I got at Goodwill. And then this is just a machine-made quilt. I buy them off of eBay. It's like a king size for like $30. And I don't feel bad cutting them up because they're nothing special. And I've got a 22-inch diameter circle. You can do as big as you want. I will have a free pattern for you of this leaves here. And I'm going to do, you know, bottom and top leaf. And we're going to do this pumpkin a little bit differently. We're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to cut half of one fabric for one side and half of the fabric for the other side. So cut each half. And now when I lay this down, you're going to lay pretty sides together. You're going to see my upholstery fabric is smaller. It's because when I folded it, I don't know how I did it, but I folded this and I folded it wonky or something. And so it made me cut one piece smaller than the other, but that's okay. Just fold your pumpkin directly in half and take your two fabrics, half pretty sides together, and glue along the straight edge or sew along the straight edge. And then I'll do that in a minute. Now, the bigger leaf I'm going to do in the color of the plain fabric, and then the smaller leaf pattern I'm going to do in the color of the upholstery fabric. And then I'm just tracing them on the back side, the wrong side of the fabric, and then I'll just cut it out that way instead of trying to pin the pattern to the fabric, etc., etc. Once I get them traced, of course, cut them out. Yeah, I just thought this would be a fun pumpkin. I didn't think it was, you know, this special technique or anything like that, but I just thought the design was fun. So I thought, you know what, I'll go ahead and share it with you because I went back and forth whether I wanted to throw this on video or not. But like I said, thought the design was fun. All right, this is cut out, and so when it's done, I'll layer it on top just like that. I know it looks like a little bit of like a sheep's head, doesn't it? Anyway, if you're a gluer, you'll glue the top to the bottom. See, it's a sheep's head. All right, now it's all you're going to see. If you're a sewer, you can sew all the way around it and then sew a line down the middle. And even if you're a gluer, you might want to do hand stitching with some cute, you know, stitches down the center to kind of give that center break of the leaf or something like that. You know, you can do however you'd like to do it. You do you. All right, here I am sewing down the straight line of our pumpkin to get our two fabrics together, nice and easy. Perfect. And then I'll bring in the sewing of the leaf, of course. I just like how this looks. And then when we layer it on the pumpkin, you know, it'll just kind of have that offset look a little bit because we'll kind of layer it part onto the upholstery fabric and it'll kind of make the leaf pop out. It kind of blends in and pops out at the same time, I guess, making the line down the middle. All right, here's our pumpkin all together, ready to go. I love the different textures of the fabric, and I love this. I probably could use darker fat or thread on the leaf, but I still like how it turned out. All right, now I'm going to use some crochet thread and a big needle. The big needles because you need a larger eye opening if you're a beginner to get that crochet thread through that eye of the needle. You start from the back side, the wrong side of your fabric, and go all the way through and pull it to the knot. You can see my knot's a loop, but that's okay because we cut that off anyway. Then you're going to come from the back to the front and pull it all the way through. I don't care how long my stitches are. I just try to make them the same height from the edge of the fabric to the stitch. And you just go back and forth on this motion and go all the way around. You can do single stitches like this. Show you what it looks like here, just like that, and you continue that all the way around, or you can go a little bit quicker. I go from, whatever side you're on. I need to come from the back to the front and pleat the fabric on, and you can do it faster this way, and you can pleat as many times as you want, and then pull your needle through, and you make a whole bunch of stitches at once. If you're a beginner sewer and you need a little bit slower instruction, on my blog there will be a video, basic sewing stitches, and you can go watch that a little bit slower. All right, so I'm going to do that till I come clear back around real close to my knot, which is right here. You can see I'm just a stitch away or so from that knot. I'll pull that needle through, just like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull out both threads out to the side and gather up your pumpkin. That stitch was so that we can gather this up and be able to close our pumpkin. Now you're going to go ahead and fill it as full as you want. I'll do a little bit here, finish it off camera. And then once it's as full as you want, of course, then we'll go in and just pull our threads a little tighter. And let me grab my thread here, a little tighter, and then tie it off in a knot. Now I usually will leave the opening just big enough for my stem, but I'm leaving it a little bit bigger this time. And of course, you'll see why here in just a minute. All right, here it is ready to go. Here's why you might need to sit down. I'm not doing any sections in the pumpkin. I know! I'm going to leave it just like this, but if you want to do sections in your pumpkin, you can go ahead and do that. So these are the materials I'm going to use. A little bit of rope here to the left. And then these are just some old tablecloths I picked up at thrift stores that are like doilies. Some are just some simple doilies, things like that we're going to use on our pumpkin here. This is a spindle that I cut apart and I sanded it a little bit. I'm going to use that for the stem. I've just got it placed in here in the middle for now. And what I'm doing is I'm gluing the rope down right up underneath that opening, and then I'm just kind of twirling it around like this and making a design, making sure I glue that twirl down, and then just because you don't want it to come apart, right? Glue everything down and then glue that rope down. Glue your design together and then glue the rope down is what I'm trying to say. All right, we'll get this finished and then I'll turn it up from the side where you can see it, just like that. It's just a fun little detail. You can skip it if you want. I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the other side. It's not going to be like the exact opposite. I'm just going to kind of do the same kind of design sort of, but I'm not going to, make sure it's the opposite direction or anything from the other side. I'm just doing how I feel like I want to loop it and glue it. Okay. Nice and easy pumpkin, like I said, and then this fun is just adds to it. And you could use whatever color rope or twine or whatever you want. All right, there's that one done. See, it looks totally sort of different from the other side. All right, now what I want to do is just kind of see how my leaf is going to go here. See, I'm kind of placing it. I'm going to have it on both fabrics, but like on the upholstery fabric, that white's really going to show up and differentiate it. And then on the white fabric, you'll kind of see that upholstery fabric sit up and differentiate a little bit, if you know what I'm saying. Now what I'm doing is I've got all my little doilies and things like that. Like this one, I'm just kind of scrunching up and I'm placing right inside that opening. Then this is a piece of tablecloth and edging. I just cut a chunk off. I'm laying it in there, gathering it, seeing how I want it. Here's another different design of a, crocheted tablecloth. I'm laying it in there, gathering it, seeing how I want it. And then I'll just kind of glue it into position when I like how all the gathers have come together. And then I'll kind of make sure I glue it to the inside to that cotton a little bit, make sure everything's going to be nice and stable, not going to pull out, just leaving enough room for my stem here in a little bit. And then I'm going to glue it onto the top a little bit more too, so it gathers on that top, but it's not all floppy, right? You didn't think I had so much to say about adding crochet to the top of a pumpkin, did you? I aim not to disappoint. All right, let's glue our top or our middle in, and then we're going to, our stem, and then we're going to glue our leaf on. And I kind of glue it in a little bit kind of crinkly, and then I will just kind of raise it up a little bit and glue the bottom in. I don't want it just laying flat against the pumpkin, I should say. And then 2 kinds of lace from Dollar Tree or crochet trim from Dollar Tree. I'm just making a bow together with them, and then I'll just separate the bows a little bit. I'll cut the tails off in a little bit here. And I'm going to kind of down in, scrunch it right up against the stem and that leaf. Here I am adjusting the tails. Haven't quite glued it in yet. Now I'll glue it in, and I'm going to just like scrunch it way down in there because I want my leaf to be seen, but I need something a little bit more over that leaf. And then I'll glue down my doilies and stuff a little bit more, folding in any raw edges or anything like that, so it looks a little nicer. And then once I do that, that makes this project complete. So I hope you enjoyed both of these projects today. Leave me a comment down below and let me know which one you want to make right now. I love both of these, but I love kind of like the half and half pumpkin with the leaf that, you know, kind of brings both halves together. But I love the colors of this flower box, and just the simple title of Autumn Skies goes with it, and it just, you know, makes the beautiful colors of fall come to life. Please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel to grow. And if you walked in here for the first time, you're just checking things out, you're digging what you saw, make sure before you click off, you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on another video from me. Now, before I go, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. As we put on the full armor of God, we are making a choice to rise up against the schemes of the enemy. We are standing up and standing firm in God, the one who created us and loves us. We are buckling up and buckling in, choosing to put our hope and faith in God above all else. Make no doubt about it, though, the enemy will come against us in every way that we can't even see or imagine, trying to knock us over, but God will not let the enemy and his schemes have the upper hand. God is more powerful, more upright, and nothing can prevail against him. He will always fight for us, so much so that he even sent his son Jesus, who endured the cross, grabbed the keys to death and hell, and now is sitting at the right hand of the Father to bring us the strength to fight and the victory to win. The enemy is no match for Jesus, who has ultimate authority and ultimate power over him. But be alert and understand that the capabilities of the enemy far exceeds anything we have in our arsenal. But with God, the famous motto, "Not today, Satan," holds extreme validity. It means that God within us is God for us, and the God that is for us gives us the strength we need to successfully resist the enemy with a firm stability in the one who guarantees our safety. It means that we are not alone as we fight with the protective shield of our faith in God, extinguishing the arrows of evil and darkness. It means that when we speak the word of God with authority, it releases a powerful double-edged sword that cuts and thrusts in both directions, overcoming the enemy and bringing us the victory that Jesus fought for on the cross. No matter what we may be dealing with, we cannot and should not fear, because God will readily supply us with the weapons and the strategies we need to hold our ground. We simply cannot doubt that we don't have the power to overcome what the enemy throws at us. So we must stay the course, hold steady, stand firm, and remain immovable. We keep our trust in the Most High God, because the one who stands for us is never against us. He stands on all sides of us, and within him and only him we live and move and have our being. Basically, with God, all things are possible, and it means that with God, the enemy goes down. In the Bible, the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, it says, "No weapon that is formed against you will succeed, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you will condemn. This peace, righteousness, security, and triumph over opposition is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and this is their vindication from me, says the Lord." I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.